So I sat down, I think it was Monday, and I was in meditation. I said, what am I going to talk about today? And I said, we've had a lot of fun talks. Let's do this. Let's talk about good and evil. That's an interesting topic, isn't it? What is good and what is evil? So I go back to the teachings that I learned from Dr. John Demartini. And Dr. Demartini taught, I don't know, would he call that good or evil? He teaches that whatever we perceive as serving our highest values, we label as good. Whatever we perceive that is not serving our highest values, we perceive as evil. So let's get a real clear demonstration of that. During World War II, when Adolf Hitler was coming to power, the world was in a deep recession. In the 30s, there was a deep recession that was worldwide, beyond anything that we in modern times would know. And so he built up this whole thing of nationalism, the Aryan race. And he was able to say that all of this poverty, all of the suffering was what? He blamed it on the Jews and others. And so he said, I'm going to purify this race of that, and I'm going to make things better. And then he knew that if he could get manufacturing going, that would give jobs and people would have money. So what did he do? He started building a war machine, right? He built a war machine. So people were, all of a sudden, abundance is flowing in their lives. All of a sudden, they're out of the Great Depression. They're now living, and so all of a sudden, what do people say? Oh, he's our Savior. He got us out. So what do? They blindly what? Turn their power over to him. And then what is the first place he invaded? It was Poland, if I'm not mistaken. My home country. I am half Polish. I love pierogies. I love gułamki. Do you guys know what pierogies are? They're like a ravioli, except it's got either mashed potatoes and onions, sauerkraut, and even some of them have meat in them. Then there's gułamki, stuffed cabbage rolls. And then there's szarnita, duck blood soup. And then there's kielbasa, which is a sausage. Polish food, when I ate meat, I loved it. But here's the thing about it. We thought Poland was such an innocent nation at the time. Well, remember what happened after World War I. The world was divided up. Germany was divided up. So part of Germany, where Germans live, was given to Poland. And the Polish people at that time were committing genocide on the Germans. They were torturing them. They were putting them to death. So what did the Germans do when Hitler got to power? They invaded. So now let's look at it from this standpoint. Do the Germans believe when they invaded Poland they were doing good? So it wasn't evil to them. But yet we over here looked at it from a different perspective, right? And we labeled it as evil. And so whenever you've got conflict going on between people, between races, both sides are seeing that they're for good. And what is it? It's all a perception. It's all a perception. We think of the United States as always being good. Can I get more laughter? Because you got to understand, you need to have some laughter about it because we're not good. When you look at what the people in the Mideast and they look at the United States, they do not look at us as good. We've come in and we've forced our ways on them. They may not be ready for what we teach. And who's to say what we teach is good? I don't know. It depends on where your consciousness is. Some people can deal with freedom, can deal with the idea of democracy. Some people are not ready for that yet. Do you get that? You can't put everyone in a box. And when we put people in boxes, that's where good and evil comes up. And so I'm coming back, and I go back to Ernest Holmes. And Ernest Holmes always talked about that the only place that you can begin to heal, the only place you can change the world is within you. It's the individual. That's where the work is done, in the individual. You cannot do it as a group. You cannot do it as a group. That's where the fallacy is. We try to make group changes. It doesn't happen. We've got to start here in us. And when we exemplify that, people will say, well, I wonder how their life is so good. Can you tell me about your life? Then you tell them what you've done. And they might decide to go on that path too. So let's look at what Ernest Holmes says. Evil is never a thing in itself or of itself. It is merely a limited use, or perhaps a misuse of the creative power which is complete and perfect. In other words, we understand that there's an infinite power and presence, and within that, we are parts of it. We're created out of it. The creative power within it responds to the nature of our thought. Now, that creative power within it, contrary to my Catholic upbringing, my creative power responds to the nature of my thought, whether my thought is good or evil, just for the use of those terms. If I'm constantly thinking about sickness, the law, the power that creates, is going to give me sickness because why? I'm focusing on sickness. If I focus on health, the creative power within me, it's not going to judge it, it's just going to give it to me. Do you understand that the creative power within us is the greatest thing we've got because it gives us our freedom? We are free to create a life any way we choose, and we have the power to do that with the thoughts here. Our beliefs are what? Thoughts, words, actions, and feelings aligned toward a specific result. It's not just your thoughts. And what is a belief? It's a habit. So the whole idea of what we're doing is we're building new habits of thinking, speaking, feeling, and acting toward a specific result. That's what we're doing. He goes on to say, we do not deny that people experience what we call evil. For such a denial would be absurd and would place us in a position of saying everything we do not like is unreal. No, there is a real experience that's happening. Now, the experience you and I are happening, do you think the divine is having that experience? No. The divine is everything. It's not going to have contrasting experiences. Let me ask this question. Do you think the divine cares about your experience? No. That's hard to grasp because we've been taught that God cares for us. Here's how God cares for us. It gave us freedom. It gave us the freedom to use our mind, to use our thought, to allow the creative power within us to create a new life. Is there not a greater way to express love than giving that? Wow, when you embrace it from that point, that means that what you're looking for, what I'm looking for, has always been inside. So we can stop going outside to find that and realize we have to go within to find it because that's the only place we'll see it. And we don't see it, we feel it. When you find that connection, it's a feeling. It cannot be described. The origin of evil is in the human mind. And the belief in the devil, hell, purgatory, and all has its origins in the human mind and nowhere else. Hell is made up. It's not a place. Think about it. God's infinite. God's infinite. Then where's hell? It must be within God. Is the devil? Can't be outside of God, can it? Because God is all there is. It's infinite. Every major world religion talks about God being infinite. All-powerful, all-knowing, everywhere present, always has been, always will be. That's what we hear in every religion about God. And every religion has the saying, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Every major world religion has that saying. Think about that. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Why? Because what you do unto others is going to come back. Do you get that? What you do is going to come back. That's karma. That's the law of cause and effect. So if you're putting out evil, what you perceive as evil, you're going to get back evil. Remember, you don't want to be against anything. Anything. You want to be for something. You see, you want to put your attention for health, for abundance, for inclusivity, for personal power, for clarity, for harmony, for peace. You want to be for something that is more life-giving. Life-giving for you and for others. I think that's important. It's not just life-giving for you. It's got to be life-giving for others as well. Here's the key to becoming wealthy. Find out what gift you've got that you can give better than anyone in the world and give it to more and more and more people. When you're giving your gift to more and more people, they in turn will receive that gift and they will return to you what we call energy that we label as money. So my role as a teacher is, how can I give you more? How can I serve more people so I can draw more money into Agape so we can expand and grow even bigger? People want this message. When I was at the Holistic Fair last week, when you all were here, or some of you were here listening to Veronica, I did a talk there, and there was only one person in the group that had ever heard me before. There were 36 people. 35 people never heard this before. Never heard the idea of what self-love was. Never heard conscious living. Think about that. They were at a holistic fair and they'd not heard this before. They were going around from table to table trying to find out who's got the magic cure, who's got the magic potion, who's got the magic modality. Guess what? There is no magic potion, no magic cure, no magic modality. It's work that you do by changing the makeup of your mind. It's a hard lesson because we want to blame and we want to empower someone to fix us. When I was dating, I tried to fix a lot of women. Didn't do very well at that. You don't want to fix anyone. You want to be yourself. That's the gift you want to give yourself. And when you're yourself, now someone can love you. Because until you're yourself, how do people know who they're going to love? How do people know who they can accept? See, if you're not being yourself, how do you know that you're acceptable? It's a good question. It's worth asking that question a lot, isn't it? Evil will disappear from our experience in such a degree as we no longer feed it with our imagination or through our acts creating situations that encourage it. I had an experience, I'll share it with you last week. An experience that I had a big lesson from. So there was an individual there. I love this individual. Some of you know this individual. Don't need to say her name. But she walked up to me after the Holistic Fair. This is about 7:30 at night. I've been there since 9 in the morning. And she said to me, says, I want to learn some energy work, and I've got this person who wants to teach it. Will you be my guinea pig? Well, sure. Energy work, I'll take that. Now, was I conscious when I said that? I wasn't, was I? So I lied down on the table, and this person did this energy work. And I left the place that day, and I woke up the next day, Monday, June 25th. Remember June 25th. Why? It's my birthday. That's a good reason. 6 months before Jesus, Lee was born. That's how I look at that. Very simple. It's now ingrained in your head. You're all going to know that June 25th is my birthday. It's also Patty's birthday. It's also Mary Rinaldi's birthday. But it's my birthday because I'm self-centered. So I'm there, wake up on my birthday, and I go, what the heck hit me? I was moody. I was angry. I was off-center. And I'm going, what the heck? And I'm grateful that day I didn't have contact with a lot of people. I tried to meditate. I tried this. I tried that. And my wife came home. She came home from work and says, where you want to go for your birthday dinner? And I looked at her and says, I don't. I'm off center. I don't feel good. I didn't know what's going on. And I got done with saying that, and I said, So I called up the individual that asks me to do it. And she's an intuitive, whatever that means. And she said to me, let me tap into that. And she said, the energy work moved things around in such a way that it's caused this. Do this, do this, do this, and tomorrow you wake up and you'll reboot and you'll be fine. Well, I woke up the next morning and I was fine. Lesson. Talking to my friend Naranjan that day, that first thing that morning, he and I are talking. And he said, Lee, I value you as my best friend, but sometimes you're just plain stupid. You're just plain stupid. He goes, you are working day in, day out, creating an energy that's different than any other human being that is around, and you go and you allowed someone who wasn't of your vibration to play with your energy? Why would you do that? I said, I don't know. I was confused. I thought free energy work. You hear that? Free energy work. If it's free, you don't want it. If something is worthwhile, there's got to be a pay for it. You get that? There's got to be an exchange of energy. I learned my lesson. I'm not allowing anyone that I don't know extremely well to work on my body. My regular massage therapist, I know very well. My Rolfer, I know very well. My chiropractor, I know very well. I know their energies. I can allow them. But to go out and say, well, I'll try a stranger, don't do that unless you've got a referral from someone you really trust. I had to learn the lesson. It's about me. It's not about other people and what they want to do with me. You get that? You've got to make that decision. No one knows what's right for you but you. The Big E goes on and says, humans have self-choice. And having self-choice implies there must be more than one thing to choose. In other words, you've got to be able to choose hot or cold, love or hate, quiet or noise, because without contrast, you can't experience. And all we are here in this world to do is to experience. I think I put a thought out for the day during the week, honoring my birthday, and it was basically this. It's not how long you live, it's the amount of experience you bring in the time that you're alive that matters. We are here to experience life, to feel life, to enjoy life, to try new things, not to do the same routine over and over again. That's just down and out boring. Except for sex. That can be the good thing, same over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And people ask me, why do you bring up sex like that? Well, I'm going to tell you. Because I don't want you to put me on a pedestal. Do you hear that? I want you to know that I'm as human as you are, and I want to show you that I'm as human as you are so that you understand that I'm on the journey with you. Because what I've understand is you don't elevate someone and put yourself below them. In other words, subordinate yourself to anyone on the planet. And one of the things that happens anytime you're on a stage speaking to a group of people, they tend to elevate you in their consciousness, and I purposely say things to bring my level of down in your mind so you don't do that. Does that make sense to you? So I want you to understand, where am I coming from? I'm coming from a place where you are, and I want to be just like you, but we're on different paths, but yet we're sharing part of the path together. Okay? These great principles of nature exist to be used. The law exists to be used. We've got freedom to create anything we want. Do you hear that? Anything we want. Let's start creating more. Let's not just keep creating key lime pie, key lime pie, key lime pie, key lime pie. You get bored. Bring on some banana cream. Bring on something new. These laws respond to us whether we're using them toward what we want or we're using them toward what we don't want. You've got to understand that. There is no divine being judging you. The only judge of you is you. The law responds, it creates your experience, it creates your experience, it creates your experience. And then when you have the experience, you judge yourself. Having a bad experience is really what? It's a sign saying, oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. That's all a bad experience is. Anything negative that happens to you is simply a sign for you to say, oh, I don't want to go in that direction. I think I'm going to go in a different direction. It's the same thing with our emotions. When we feel good, we're on our path, we're going in the right direction. When we're not feeling good, we're off of it. When I was feeling crappy on Monday, I'd gone off my path, hadn't I? I was teaching self-empowerment, and I gave my power away. What happened back to me? I got the lesson. Not a bad thing. I learned a valuable lesson. You got to be careful. What's the statement that all the motivational dudes say? You will be as wealthy as the 5 people you hang around with the most. Think about that. You will be as wealthy as the 5 people you hang around with the most. And you can take that and put about any quality in your life. So you got to be careful about who you hang out with, depending on what your goals are in life. You want to surround yourself with the energy that feeds you, that nourishes you, that lifts you. Doesn't mean you can't support people that are not of the same energy, but you want to make sure you're spending time with higher consciousness, whatever that is for you. The very powerful power that binds us is the same power that frees us. In other words, we can create bondage, but we can use that power to free us. Everything begins with what? A new thought. In any moment, your life can re-begin itself with a new thought. The question is, will you think that thought, and will you continue to think that thought over and over and over again? Whew. I've covered a lot of ground. And I did it today because I want you to know that we are more polarized as a society today than we've ever been, in my mind. I mean, there's more division, there's more separation, there's more us versus them. I'm looking to you to say, go within and do your work. Become the most magnificent you that you can be. And when you do that, you will change the world. Because you're changing your world, and that's the only world that you can change. Let's go within.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.